Hey folks, Michael Mann with Michael Mann Security Services. Welcome to Providing Close Protection in Faith-Based Environments. This is part 3, or be present, not overbearing. So be present and not overbearing. So let's get into this right away. But before we do that, let's talk about what's coming up July 30th through July 31st here in Brentwood, Tennessee. We have Providing Close Protection in Faith-Based Environments. It covers all the things that we're talking about in these little sub-modules, these mini-modules. We're going to talk about the history of the bodyguard concept. We're going to talk about providing security in faith-based environments, and you're going to learn how to do that. We're going to talk about the 5 principles of close protection. We're going to talk about equipment. We're going to get into preemptive care, a review and how to do those things, how to apply that. Going to teach you about surveillance detection in faith-based environments or in the church or synagogue or mosque environment, how to conduct a security survey for your house of worship. I'm going to teach you behavior-based threat assessment. So as you're in the sanctuary, standing post, whatever, what it is you're looking for to detect that potential problem early. We're going to get into the use of force and deployment of firearms, which doesn't happen a lot, but again, it's something you need to learn, especially in close protection, because it does protect against those intentional threats. And we're going to do some basic escort formations for you folks that are having to do that or are required to do that because of the mission of the church, or maybe something that happened, just happened to be going on at that function or at that worship service. Okay, so that is July 30th through the 31st. We hope to see you in Brentwood, Tennessee. You can go to our website at michaelmannsecurityservice.com. Go to training. You can register directly from the website. It will take you to Eventbrite, and we hope to see you July 30th through the 31st. I have all the equipment, but the only thing you're going to need to bring is a firearm and your support equipment, but you don't need any ammo, and I provide all the other equipment for the class. Okay, so we're going to get into it. Let's get into, so as we talk about close protection and we talk about being present and not overbearing, remember we talked about our protection objectives 2 weeks ago, and those objectives are we are trying to protect our principal, our pastor, or the congregation from intentional threats, unintentional threats, embarrassment, and then, of course, any kind of interruption. You learned last week through behavior-based threat detection techniques that early threat detection is the key to success, and we are going to continue that today through our physical presence and what being physically present actually means in close protection. Okay? So just really quick, presence definition: to be stationed in a particular place. So this gets into, especially when we are doing protection work, physically protection people or a person, we talk about a physical and mental state. So this gets into 3 elements. Number 1 is situational awareness. You guys have heard situational awareness. It's been worn out. It's been beat to death. But it's applicable here, and it's applicable anywhere in security. And so when we talk about situational awareness, 2 basic concepts here. Number 1 is that we maintain security, and that means 360-degree security, and that means to be able to respond to some sort of an incident that may come from any direction at any time. Security is the basis for movement. It is the basis for situational awareness. So the basic 360 and knowing what is going on around us is very important. And then there's some expectations when we talk about situational awareness, and this gets into some things we talked about last week, and that is understanding the environment. What that means is know what is supposed to happen, 1, and number 2, know what is not supposed to happen. And again, we talked about that in our threat detection last week. The second element, when we start talking about being present, is deterrence. Deterrence, by definition, is my ability as a protector to psychologically impact the motivation of that adversary or adversaries to attack the facility I'm protecting, the person I'm protecting, or the persons. And that this gets into this overt protection that we do provide while we're in that sanctuary, or we're at that Christian camp standing post because there's 300 kids, out swimming, or, it's on Sunday and we're, by our children's ministry and the worship center and or the sanctuary, and that's our post for the day. So that physical overt presence that we provide in security for houses of worship, that is very important. That's the second piece of our presence. And that third piece of us being present goes back to our mental state. and that is our ability to detect our detection. Detection, by definition, is that discovery of a potential adversary event or some sort of activity. And if we're on our game and we are providing effective protection, that detection is always early, and we talked about that last week when we talk about our behavior-based threat detection techniques. The first video you're going to see here, we start talking about, I want you to understand, you're going to see here very quickly that this is a protector. This is a real video. This happened in Mexico. This is an attack that was stopped, or the principal was protected because we had a very situationally aware, very physically and mentally capable protector. And you're going to see, number one, through situational awareness, because he was maintaining 360-degree security. And number two, even more important, was the expectation. He knew something that was supposed to happen and the things that were not supposed to happen. And you can see he kind of moves his body. He's looking at something because he has an early indicator of something that's about to occur. And that caused him, and because of skill, made him react and start to do things early. And it actually stopped his principal from getting harmed. Okay. So here we have the protector up here. Look at the 360 up here in the corner. This is a bank, I believe, and so he has probably a high net worth client, very specifically probably for the area he's at. Now look, he's maintaining 360, and you're going to see in just a second he notices something that's not supposed to happen. So the client goes in, starts walking in, and watch. You can see right here he's picked up something. Something is different in the environment. So there's something about this, and it's because this guy's getting so close. It looks like it's a delivery guy, but it's not. He knows something's not right. He sees a weapon. His weapon comes out. His principal's able to get away. He's able to defend his principal. He survives. Looks like he's using cover concealment. He's moving. Now he's going back to cover his principal to make sure she is okay, and she is. So we talked about, when we talk about situational awareness, that 360-degree security, which you observed, and of course the expectations. He knew what was supposed to happen and what was not supposed to happen. Something that was not supposed to happen did occur. That made him react early, and that actually stopped the threat. He could not deter this threat because it was a determined adversary, but he was able to successfully stop the attack. This is older video of one of the former popes. You're going to see protection detail around the pope, but something happens very quickly. Some very overt indicators, some things. If you come to the course in July, you are going to learn. There are both overt and covert indicators that you can pick up, especially on our behavior-based threat detection techniques. And you're going to see, because something was not picked up quick enough, then there's a successful attack against the Pope here. You can see he's moving. So you can see he does have a protective detail there on the wings. Now they're kind of going through a fence line, and of course they don't really have enough coverage. But oh well. Okay, he's got some stationary security folks also that are looking out toward him. Plus he's got the uniform guards there. And you're going to see something in just a second. The protectors don't notice something, a very overt and dynamic action here. It's too late, and they are able to get to the principal and get to the Pope. They're able to get the attacker off the principal of the Pope quickly, but you can see reaction was very, very slow. So when we start to talk about being present, being situational aware, and understanding very quickly what's supposed to happen and what's not supposed to happen. To be overbearing, so we want to be present, situational awareness, deterrence, and then that early detection. What we don't want to do is be overbearing or arrogantly domineering. A couple of reasons why. Number one, because conflict avoidance. Conflict avoidance is that third element in any physical security design feature, right? And so conflict avoidance means our security program cannot conflict with the mission of the organization that we are assigned to protect or safeguard. In the church, being domineering, overbearing does not work. And so your program probably won't last very long, or they're not going to appreciate it. Number two, in our environment, most of the time it's probably unnecessary. In that sanctuary or standing post at some other faith-based events, whether those be open events or some sort of a concert or some special event or worship, it's probably unnecessary. That domineering personality is just not necessary in our environment most of the time. Number three, it can cause escalation and an overreaction. When we talk about escalation, overreaction, that can create both a civil and criminal liability for us and for the house of worship. And number two, it also causes embarrassment for the church and for our principal, or maybe the pastor, whoever you're protecting. And so, again, being overbearing is, number one, it violates one of our key features for physical protection. Number two, it's probably unnecessary. Number three, it can cause an escalation of the situation and an overreaction, which again, there's liability and could be embarrassment. This is a quick, funny video. It's a fun video. It's from somewhere over in Europe, and it just shows a protector that's a little bit overbearing and kind of reacts quickly to something. It's really funny, but it illustrates the point really well, I believe. Pretty funny. All right, folks, if you have any questions, you can email us at contact at michaelmannsecurityservices.com, or you can get us at Scott M, SCOTTM, at michaelmannsecurityservices.com. You can also get us on Facebook and Instagram at Safe with Man. You can also give us a call, or you can send us a message through the website at michaelmannsecurityservices.com. Join us next week, and we are going to talk about the threat assessment process for your principal, what that looks like, what it means, or really not just the threat assessment piece. We're going to talk about the risk piece and conduct that risk assessment for your principal or for whoever you're protecting in that faith-based environment. All right. So we hope to see you next week. And again, if you've got questions, shoot them to us there. There's multiple venues or ways you can do it. All right. And remember, folks, it is about prevention and not response. And we hope to see you July 30th and 31st.